What's up, everybody? Welcome to the House of Mario, the South Australian Nintendo podcast that is backed by 120 Power Star rating. I'm your host, Drew Agnew, and the doors to episode 136 are open. Joining me on the show this week is absolutely no one. I'm here all by myself. Not because of self-quarantine or anything, but it's just how it's worked out. Well, I guess it kind of is. So, I guess as you all know that the world's in a very different state at the moment. So, what Bryce is doing is he's staying home. He's not coming over. His daughter come down with some pretty ordinary flu symptoms, so he's taken the appropriate precautions and he's staying home. And we were going to do a remote recording, but he's spending his time looking after his kids and his missus because she's come down sick as well. Honestly, I don't think it's a coronavirus or anything. I think it is just a cold. Not that I've come in contact with them, but basically down here in the limestone coast of South Australia, we're not in a. There's been one case reported. The first case was reported yesterday. So, yeah. So there will be a bit of coronavirus talk on this podcast just at the start. But apart from that, we'll be talking all about Animal Crossing and Nintendo taking down fan projects. We're going to go to Reggie's Rec Room to talk with other people about Animal Crossing towards the end of the episode. And there'll be much more news among that. Really looking forward to sort of doing this podcast just by myself. It's fun doing solo podcasting. It's a bit different. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it's not a big shamble. Not a big shamble. Hopefully it works out well. I just want to start off the show with a Apple podcast review we got back in January. I just want to refresh people's minds that if you enjoy the show, you can support us by leaving a review over on Apple Podcasts or any other service that offers reviews. But Apple Podcast is the main one that easily allows you to leave a review, whether it's 1 star or 5 stars, but you want to make it 5 star. We've got no reviews under 5 stars, so don't get that average down for us, for the love of God's sakes. Well, we need that average. That average is good. So this review is from JMac, and it reads, I was looking for a good Nintendo podcast, and boy did I hit the mother load. Drew and Bryce have a casual, hilarious approach to hosting, but they are serious, nitty fans with a huge plethora of gaming knowledge. I've loved their banter back and forth, as well as coverage of my fave consoles, the Switch, the Wii U, and the Super Nintendo. It's been fantastic to go back and forth and listen to old podcasts while I work, as the content is still very current if you are wondering which games to get. So thank you very much for that review. So that's just a reminder, if you enjoy the show, you can leave a review. So I don't have to remind you all, but I don't want to remind you actually. This the whole point of doing this content sort of distract you for an hour or so. But yeah, since the last week was absolutely crazy as far as things have gone in the world. 2 weeks ago we did an episode, and straight after all this news dropped, about Reggie joining GameStop, and E3 got cancelled, and it just snowballed from there. And last week Bryce came over, and it's just like almost a normal week. There was a fair bit going on, but this week it's just it's really happening now with the borders of states in Australia closing down. Bryce and I have both lost our job temporarily at the hotel we both work at. It's just absolutely crazy. And this weekend was actually my engagement party, which I've obviously cancelled. There's no way I could have had a gathering of people in this state. If people decided to come, they would be pretty stupid. And I put it on Twitter, just saying, hey, the engagement party's cancelled, just to let my friends know, and obviously people that were going to come know. And good friend Nicholas Pryor, he commented saying, oh well, at least it wasn't the wedding, which is fair enough. At least it wasn't the wedding, but the thing is, it was our wedding. It was going to be a surprise wedding for both Chantel and I, and yeah, it really sucks. It really does suck. But at the end of the day, I guess there's a lot of sacrifices and losses a lot of people are going through, and at least that's something that can just be postponed. But we were really looking forward to it. We are pretty bummed, and that's coming up this weekend. So we're gonna think about doing something special. Obviously, not going out for dinner or anything involving stuff like that, but maybe we'll have a nice meal at home. I don't know. But yeah, I just thought I'd let you guys know because you guys who listen to this podcast, I do consider you guys friends, and I really appreciate just everything I guess you guys do for us, which is just tuning into the show and giving us your time, because that is a big it's a big thing. There's lots of content to listen to and all that, and I realize I do say that as we are approaching 6 minutes into the podcast, and I'm just sort of yapping on about all this stuff. But I hope you're all going well, and hope you guys out there who have lost work or going through even like real hard times at work because you're in the health industry or anything like that. I just want to say that I'm thinking of you guys, and I hope everything's going well. And staying home, washing your hands, all of that important stuff. My God, I'm washing my hands a lot. I work on a farm, and I'm always washing my hands because my hands are dirty. But just constantly thinking about, I touched a handrail today. I really need to wash my hands right now. Oh, I touched a lid today that some other people have touched. It's just always playing on your mind, and I'm sure you guys are going through the same thing. It's really really surreal just what's going on, but we don't have to talk about that anymore, because Animal Crossing came out this week. And Animal Crossing is a game I have been looking forward to for a long time. Oh my God. Back when it got announced last year at E3, I was absolutely ecstatic. It was a game I was waiting for. I assumed it was going to be announced, and when they announced it was coming out March, my heart sank a bit because I really was expecting it to come out about October sometime last year, but the delay really paid off in the end. It's just a fantastic game. It really is. There's so much to do, so much to, like the graphics even, like what we saw at E3 last year, the graphics looked like, unpolished. And obviously it was unpolished because the game still had 6+ months in development to go. So that was fair enough. But just the shine and how pretty and bright the game looks, it's absolutely phenomenal. And sort of just playing through it, like, how many hours did I put on the weekend? I played I'd say about 15 hours. I can't tell yet because my Switch is still sort of displaying, played 5 days ago, or whatever up to now. But it's just the perfect game that hit at the exact right time for me. Playing through the weekend, I had an absolutely amazing weekend just playing this game. I went to work at the pub on the weekend, my final shifts for a month or so. But apart from that, I was just playing Animal Crossing. We were watching Netflix, and I was just sat there with my Switch playing it. I played it on the TV for about half an hour, but then Chantel, she wanted the TV back, so I swapped back to handheld mode. And it is really just a fantastic game. Because I was thinking about it before, like, I haven't played Animal Crossing in a long time, and I hadn't really thought about that since I probably last played Animal Crossing. I played a lot. I've said this before the last couple of episodes, but I got into the series with Animal Crossing Wild World on DS and fell in love with the series there. And I played a fair bit of New Leaf, but thinking back on it, I really didn't play as much as I would have liked to. So I'm going to sort of rectify it with this game. And when I really think about it, Animal Crossing is probably my 4th favorite Nintendo franchise, which is really, really up there. So I guess Pokemon would be my first favorite series. And I was thinking second and third sort of fluctuates between The Legend of Zelda and Mario, depending on what I'm playing at the time and what mood I'm in. But I'll probably say Legend of Zelda will be second, then Mario third, then Animal Crossing fourth. And it is so awesome to be back into the series, and just the amount of shine and polish onto this game just really makes it. But before I get into sort of what's been going on with Animal Crossing, what I've been up to, and all of that type of stuff, I want to address that there's a lot of people on Twitter and a lot of people in our Discord community that haven't played Animal Crossing and they're unsure about whether they actually want to pick it up or not. It is a weird game to sort of describe. A lot of people say, what is Animal Crossing? And people say, it's like a life simulator. You pay off your house, you go fishing. And I guess that is pretty much what you do, but at the same time, that makes it sound really redundant and kind of boring. And it's really, really not that. I was thinking about how I could sort of describe it to people and not describe it like that, because you are paying off a house, you are doing these more mundane sounding activities, but it's a lot more than that. And I was thinking, like, how can I sort of describe it to people in a weird way? And this might sound pretty odd the way I'm going to describe it, but I sort of thought about like Breath of the Wild, like that game. As soon as you go out, it's open, you're free, and you've always got a task in mind, especially once you've adapted to the mechanics a bit more, and you're thinking about, all right, so what am I doing at the moment? Whether it's you're heading towards a dungeon, whether you're gathering ingredients to make potions and healing items and stamina buffs and all of that type of thing. You might be doing a quest. You might be just collecting the Korok seeds. Like, the world's yours. You're doing exactly what you want, and that is sort of the hook of Animal Crossing. So you're in on your island in this new game, and whether you're following the achievement system, which is the Nook Miles, to gain miles to just accumulate things and buy items or get a ticket to go to other islands, or you're thinking about gathering materials to craft furniture or tools that you need, or you're thinking about going fishing so you can get multiple high-selling fish so you can sell to Tom Nook to pay off your house. There's always something ticking off in your mind, and it's just really addictive. Like, you're always thinking about what you're doing next and what you might want to set up to do in the future, and that's what's going on. It's not like you turn it on and you're thinking, well, I got to think about my mortgage. I got to feed the kids. I got to bathe my dog. Like, it's not like real life. I know it might sound like that when people describe it to you, but it truly is a ton of fun. It is absolutely fantastic game. So basically, I started off the island. I called it THOM, which is a acronym for the House of Mario. And it is weird because it's got like so many. When you're naming your island, it's got so many spaces to put letters in, but then it only allows like up to 8 or something. Like, it's really short. You can't fit much actual letters in your name, so you got to keep it pretty short. I started off like, should I call my island like the island or the Isle of Mario or something like that? Do a bit of a cheeky spin on it type of thing. But no, I wouldn't let it, so I just put in THOM. And I know what that means. It sounds a bit weird, like when Tom Nook's like, welcome to THOM. It's like, who the hell named that island? What the hell does that mean? But no, it's an acronym. It's all right. It's fine. So yeah, starting off the game, the start is fairly tutorial heavy, somewhat. You start off the game and you pretty much have to do a few things. You have to go and lay out your house, lay out where other neighbors' houses are going to go, and you're sort of getting equipment and that so you can craft tools, so you can explore the island a bit more. You get the fishing rod and the net straight away, so you can get straight into that, catching fish and bugs, which is a lot of fun. That's one of my favorite things about Animal Crossing, and doing that in this game, just like at night time, you got something on the TV and you're just like catching fish, seeing what you get, especially late at night, because it's a great time to catch sharks. And I actually caught a fair few sharks. I was catching hammerheads, great white sharks, and I got a couple of each so I could donate to the Bathurst Museum, as well as sell them and get some good bells. I haven't been able to get to the Tarantula Island yet, so apparently there's like every time you go to an island, it's just like a random island, and there's an island which is just full of tarantulas, which sell for, I think it was 8,000 bells each, which is a lot. So if you get a full inventory, you can get up to like 200,000 bells, which is a lot. So yeah, Animal Crossing is absolutely fantastic. It's a lot of fun. It's definitely everything I wanted. I haven't actually played it for the last couple of days just because I've started sharing, so pretty physically exhausted when I get home, so I hadn't played any games, which really bums me out because I've got things to do, man. I've got things to do in Animal Crossing, and real life has taken over the last day or so. But after I record this podcast, I think I'm going to get back into it and keep playing. It's going to be a game you're going to be hearing about in the House of Mario for a long time because obviously it's a game you play for a long time. And I'm not going to stop playing this one. I'm going to make sure I play a heap, absolute heap. So I do hope a lot of you guys do give it a go. I know, like an $80 game. It's like, I don't know what this is. I don't know if I'll enjoy it, but for the most part, I generally think a lot of Nintendo fans will enjoy it just because of how colorful it is, how charming it is, and there's just always something to do. And people that I know, John O'Peck put on Twitter that he didn't enjoy Stardew Valley, and he probably won't enjoy this type of thing. But Stardew Valley, it is fairly different to Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing, I think, is a bit more relaxed, and it's not about forming relationships and getting married and all that type of thing with your villagers, which would be weird. That'd be weird if it was like that. But to me, Animal Crossing seems to be a bit more accessible, just with it's in 3D and just how it sort of eases you into the game. I guess I don't have a whole lot to say about Stardew Valley, just because of the fact, like, I played it for probably a couple of hours before I turned it off, and I never got back to it. But from like the beginning of that game, when you're like clearing the land and talking to people and going into the town and all that, I just think Animal Crossing is probably a bit more accessible. And so I wouldn't judge it if you've just played Stardew Valley. But yeah, I do definitely recommend giving it a go and all that stuff. So with that, I think that's all I can say on Animal Crossing at the moment, just by myself. I'm really, really happy with the game, and I'm addicted, man. I'm addicted. And what a time to get a really addictive, fun, immersive game. It's definitely now, especially if you're stuck inside. So I reckon it's a bit early, but I think we might move into the news, because there is a ton of news I've got here. Whether we go through it all or not, we'll see. But let's jump into the news. Whoa.
Woohoo! Yeah! Pika, pika!
Is that all?
I fight for my friends.
Yahoo!
My body is still
All right, so we got some Animal Crossing news, obviously, because Animal Crossing just come out. It's one of the biggest games this year to launch, and especially for Nintendo, because it's their first party game to come out. So this article is from Nintendo Life, and it reads, Animal Crossing devs reveal how long New Horizons has been in development. So the article reads, although Animal Crossing New Horizons was only confirmed for Nintendo Switch in September 2018. Was it confirmed then? No, yeah. I guess it was then. Yeah, that's right. It's confirmed when it was actually shown at E3, right? Okay, gotcha. I'm just trying to catch up in my brain. Unsurprisingly, the game had been in development for many years before it was announced to the public. In fact, the deserted island concept dates all the way back to 2012, not long after Animal Crossing New Leaf had been released on Nintendo 3DS in Japan. In the same interview with the Washington Post, director Ayaya and producer Hishimi Nogami spoke about how early development on New Horizons began shortly after the initial release of New Leaf, and well before the Nintendo Switch was even a thing. Interestingly, while the team was busy planning out the next game, it was still working on the Welcome Amiibo update for New Leaf. They reiterated how the development cycle of New Horizons started well before the team began thinking or knowing about Nintendo's hybrid hardware. So it is amazing how long this game had been in development. I remember on Wii U, we were sort of like, all right, when's Animal Crossing game coming up for Wii U? They released that really nice looking app where you could like talk to all the villagers and all of that on the screen, and it just looks so beautiful, just with all of the models and everything. And we're like, all right, there must be an Animal Crossing game coming out soon, and it definitely wasn't coming out soon. This game had been in development since 2012, when just after New Leaf was released in Japan. So it is nuts that the game took that long to develop. Like, thinking about Animal Crossing, I think it would be like a nightmare to write for, because think about how much dialogue is in this game, just with every villager saying different things depending on different scenarios, whether it's raining, whether it's sunny, depending what you're wearing, if you're stung by a wasp. Like, there's just so many variables that you've got to write for every single one of them, and I think that alone would be absolutely crazy. But yeah, so that's why we didn't get it on Wii U either. It would have been such a shame to actually release Animal Crossing on Wii U because it just would have been a waste. Yeah, and then we would have been waiting a lot longer for this version, which was already 3 years or almost 3 years into Nintendo Switch. So, yeah. Next article is also from My Nintendo Life, and this one doesn't make much sense. So the title is Angry Players Are Starting to Review Bomb Animal Crossing New Horizons. Yeah, this one really doesn't make any sense to me. And the article reads, once again, a major release on Nintendo Switch is being review bombed by disgruntled players. Animal Crossing New Horizons has been a huge hit with critics, ourselves included, which are Nintendo Life, and seems to be going down wonderfully with the majority of players who have been sharing screenshots of their islands on social media over the past few days. Some players aren't as happy, however. Talking to review aggregator site Metacritic to pile its user review system, the game is... Sorry, I'll start again. The game currently has an overwhelmingly positive rating of 91 based on 58 reviews from sites and critics. But the user score currently sits at a 6.5 with an increasing number of negative reviews coming in each day. The average score isn't as bad as it could be thanks to an even larger number of positive reviews, but the written reviews themselves make for grin reading. From every negative comment concerns New Horizons multiplayer, and specifically the way in which only one island can be created per Nintendo Switch system. As we've come in the past, rather than assessing all aspects of the game calmly, users have taken the opportunity to drag down the game with a score of 0 to prove their point. Here are some choice comments. So these are some comments that Nintendo Life has pulled out. And this one reads, if you have more than one person in your home that wants to play the game, you need 2 Switches. Worst decision I've ever seen. This even beats EA. Congratulations, Nintendo. You have officially become the worst video game company this year. Another one reads, brought to play with the wife. That's a great start. While it is possible, we can't have our own islands. After research, Nintendo has apparently locked each Switch console to one island each. From now, we'll stick with our PlayStation 4. At least Sony respects its customers. Another one reads, the limitation of one island per Switch, not per cartridge, but per Switch, is nonsensical. It's obvious Nintendo is trying to sell more Switch consoles. Sorry, but this is an apparent instant zero. It's not just multiplayer that has riled people up. So this is another one. The objectives in the game are not clear. There are multiple tasks, but none of them lead to a greater objective. Or at least I did not see any interesting narrative that was spun into the background. It's sad and embarrassing that having a superior hardware such as Nintendo Switch, the developer has opted for that annoying world in perspective of roller, and they would not make the jump to the more open world as other sagas have done. Okay. So this is odd. I'm gonna pull up a question here. So this is from Luke, who left it over on our Patreon page at patreon.com/iDruby. And he asks, which of your Switch units are you playing Animal Crossing on, and does it bother you very much that you can't transfer the file? So this is pretty much where the problem comes. Nintendo see this game as a console game. They don't really see it as a handheld game. As you might remember from New Leaf, that was obviously on Nintendo 3DS, and they saw that game as you're moving around. You got your street pass, you're transferring data. But with this game, it's like, all right, this is in your lounge room, and it's going to be one island, and it's going to be shared between 5 people, a family of however many people you've got. And because of that, you're not able to move your save between Nintendo Switches, whether it's through cloud saves or whether it's through just local transfers, which for me is annoying because I don't even necessarily care about transferring it to my Switch Lite or whatever have you, but I do like just having my save backed because Animal Crossing, as we've already discussed, you take you put in a lot of time to that game. It'll be pretty easy to put in 100 hours without sort of noticing. You're just chilling, fishing. You've got it idling because it's nice and calm. Oh, you might plant some trees here and there. Like it takes a lot of time, and losing that would be absolutely devastating. And that's to the point where they're actually offering. They're going to be implementing a way to back up your save in case you lose your Switch, and you can, I guess, bring it back down if you buy a new one or whatever have you. I don't know what they're going to do necessarily, but it's going to have its own system separate to everything they're doing elsewhere. But to Luke's point, it doesn't bother me because I did the same with Pokemon. Pokemon doesn't let you back up the save because you'll be able to really, really mess things up just by cloning your Pokemon and items and everything. It will just sort of be a pain in the ass, really. As much as I would love just to back up my save, because that's a similar situation. I've put 170 so hours into Pokemon, and if my save just disappeared, that would be annoying. But at least Pokemon allows you to transfer saves locally, which I haven't done because it makes me a bit nervous, like transferring a save and deleting it off the system, which is what it does. And if that stuff's up, I'm like, cool, no, I'll just leave it on. I'll just leave it on my Switch that can connect to the TV. Because at the end of the day, like you're moving it to your Switch Lite. I've sort of come to the thought that the Switch Lite, it's a really nice, solid feeling unit. It doesn't have the detachable Joy-Cons. It's got a great D-pad, but there is really no need to be transferring it to the Switch Lite when I can just pick up my normal Switch and play it there. So Luke, it doesn't bother me at all, to be honest. I do just wish I could back up my save to the cloud in case something goes wrong, which is coming, but I don't know how easy that's going to be. We know what Nintendo's like. They're probably going to make it not as easy as it needs to be. But as far as review bombing Animal Crossing, giving it 0 out of 10 is just dumb, and especially when they're referring to them as EA. It's like, well, EA is what a lot of people don't like about EA is the microtransactions and their annual franchises, and not necessarily updating them as much, and still charging full price for them. So Nintendo isn't quite doing that. I think people just like chucking EA under the bus just because they can, and they do a lot of things that annoy me personally. But it's just weird to bring up EA in this situation. Maybe like it is a good criticism how multiplayer is handled in this game, especially because of that being not able to do your save file. But yeah, it's just an interesting thing. I didn't expect this game to get review bombed, to be honest. I don't see any reason for it at all. And that sort of leads into this little quick story, which is also from Nintendo Life. So this is the Bandai Namco Twitter account complained about Animal Crossing and then quickly deleted the tweet. So Animal Crossing New Horizons has received endless praise from critics and has been smashing sales records since it launched last Friday. But not everyone's happy. Just a few hours ago, the official Bandai Namco US Twitter account shared a new tweet directly tagging Nintendo of America. It complained about New Horizons only allowing one island per Switch, calling the game an unpleasant experience as a result. So this is a screen grab from the tweet, which was deleted. You can't find it anymore. But it reads, at Nintendo of America seriously designed Animal Crossing to only have one island per Switch, forcing different users to have to fight for resources. Way to make this an unpleasant experience. So the article continues, as you might expect, this tweet was almost immediately removed, suggesting that the poor soul in charge of Bandai Namco's social media accounts accidentally remained logged in to the company account, rather from tweeting from their own personal one. Whether they realized their mistake and removed the tweet themselves, or someone else at the company stepped in to fix the issue, is unknown. Oopsie, that's how they finish it. So this is a funny one. I only found out about this today. I was compiling sort of news stories to bring up on the show, but that one's actually really quite funny. So I don't know if the PR manager at Bandai Namco US was one of these Metacritic review bombers, but it's an interesting take anyway on it anyway. Yeah, but just back to it. I don't understand why people review bomb. It's just it's really dumb. I've never felt the urge to be like, this game sucks. I'm going to give it a 0, because a 0 out of 10 means literally the code doesn't work and it doesn't operate on your device. Like, is there, like, give it a 1 out of 10. Come on, it functions. It's got a backwards sort of way of dealing with your save file and all of that. Like, fair, if you don't like that, that's fair enough. But man, and I don't see the big deal with sharing an island with people anyway. I know what they said in this, like, you've got to fight for resources, and especially at the start of the game, there's a bit where you have to build the store, and you need 30 parts of bits of iron, and iron's pretty hard to find. You've got to. What I had to do is get some off the island. Then I went to 2 more islands. Then I had enough to build the store. So I guess, but even and then, like, you're all contributing to the one thing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what these people are complaining about. If you've got these, if you share these feelings and you want to elaborate on it a bit more, write into the show, whether it's at the House of Mario or at iDruby, and I'll read it on next week's show just to sort of get some different perspective out there. But as a big Animal Crossing fan and someone who's played it a lot over the last weekend, don't know, man. Don't know. So this is an article from Nintendo Enthusiast, and Brie Larson and Nintendo partner up to promote Animal Crossing. So Brie Larson and Nintendo have finally made things official after more than a few instances of the Captain Marvel star showing her Nintendo fandom online. In a recent sponsored tweet to her Instagram account, Brie Larson shared a picture of herself wearing an Animal Crossing shirt while showing off that glorious special edition Animal Crossing New Horizons Switch console. In the post description, she talked about how she's totally engrossed with the game and gave her 6.7 million fans a not so subtle prod to try it out for themselves. The extent to Nintendo's partnership with Brie Larson is unclear, but with the sponsored post makes Doug Bowser's random tweet to her yesterday look more like a product of a partnership rather than a haphazard attempt to capitalize on her love for Nintendo games. The two exchanged words of their excitement for the long-awaited release of Animal Crossing New Horizons. So I haven't seen Doug Bowser post this. So Doug says, "Who's ready for the deserted island getaway this weekend? How about you, Brie Larson?" And she says, "Couldn't be more ready." I guess you couldn't, because you got paid. You got paid for a thing. I guess that's neat. Obviously, Nintendo sort of really stepped up the marketing with this game, and it was their only game to sort of market for the first quarter of this year, really, apart from a port of Tokyo Mirage Session, which came out a couple of months ago. This is the big game for the first quarter of this year, and also the last game that's going to be in their financials for the financial year, obviously ending in March. So yeah, Brie Larson, if you're a fan of Captain Marvel and those movies, that's cool, I guess. And I got to say, the shirt she's wearing is pretty cool. It's like got the Animal Crossing leaf logo sort of pattern on it with the logo obviously stitched on the chest there. Looks really cool. I'd rep that pretty well. Actually, it's the same shirt Tom Nook got. There you go. So there, that's interesting. So this is another article from Nintendo Life, and this one's one of those butt your head into a wall type of thing. So this is Peter having a dig at Animal Crossing, and they basically gave us a guide how to go vegan playing Animal Crossing. So the article from Nintendo Life reads, "When you start your island life in Animal Crossing New Horizons, you're immediately tasked with gathering resources by picking fruit from trees, fishing, bug catching, and more. These activities help your island to grow thanks to Tom Nook's Nook Miles scheme. But should players be a bit more concerned about their actions? Peter has issued a vegan guide to Animal Crossing, listing all the things you can and can't do to keep up with a vegan lifestyle. It kicks off with saying that you shouldn't fish, describing as cruel and bad for the environment. You shouldn't catch bugs, and you shouldn't work towards the museum because bugs don't belong in tiny cages in the museum for other villagers to gawk at. And you shouldn't dig up clams." In a shocking section titled, "Is Tom Nook exploiting you?" The guide explains that Tom is a raccoon dog, an animal often killed for fur. It says you should probably cut him some slack because his family have been beaten, electrocuted, gassed, or skinned alive. So what can you do? Well, you can eat fruit. Peter uses the added abilities you can gain when eating fruit to bolster to the point. Sorry, what was I saying? Gain when eating fruit to bolster its point on why this is a good thing, and goes on to say that you can help promote veganism with banners like this. And this is no speciesism, no fishing. So that's basically on the town bulletin board. Respect all animals while visiting. Thank you. So basically, you can tell people to not do the fun things in the game when you're in their island, I guess. It's also worth noting that the guide appears to be something of a publicity stunt, of course it is, and not entirely serious. The promotion of animal welfare is obviously a wonderful thing, but we dare say that most Animal Crossing players wouldn't actually go and rip hermit crabs from their homes to sell in real life. So just with the fact that this is a publicity stunt, of course it is. Peter have gone after Nintendo franchises a lot in the past. Pokemon being one of them. They actually did a Flash game for Pokemon Black and White back in the day, basically acting like it's basically a parody, like, Team Plasma. In the Pokemon Black and White games, Team Plasma are all for Pokemon rights. They want them to be free. Pokemon trainers not to be able to use them, but the thing is, they didn't play all the way through Pokemon Black and White. Spoilers for Pokemon Black and White, but the leader of Team Plasma, Getsis, actually wanted everyone to not use the power of Pokemon because he wanted it all for himself and he was going to use it to pretty much take over the world. Peter didn't know that, and they just thought they were doing a nice message, but no, it was just an evil scheme. So obviously with Animal Crossing, and it's a huge success, which we'll get into later, they're obviously trying to get on some of that and be... tell people to be nice animals. And of course, I think on paper, if you don't look into what Peter is, it's a good thing. Be nice to animals. Don't destroy your environment. It's all good signs, but I just cannot respect Peter. Like I think to be honest, they're all a bunch of people that are probably from the city. They've got no idea about the logistics and how farming and all of that works. Like for example, they say, everyone should not have animals and just plant crops. But that is not a thing that you can really do. Some parts of Australia, they can't grow crops, they can't grow plants, but you can run goats or some type of cattle or something on the land, but crops and that won't. So what do people just starve because they can't use animals in rural South Australia? Or not rural South Australia, but in the outback? There's lots of points. And for example, they'll take dogs out of pounds so they don't get put down, but then they realize that they got no room for the dogs, so they end up putting the dogs down anyway. Because unfortunately, that's just real life. As sad as it is, I'm 100% a dog lover. I've had dogs my whole life. I'll be very sad if I didn't have a dog in my life. But unfortunately, these pounds and that, what can you do? If you don't have the space, no one wants them, etc. And I think Peter found out that the hard way. But back to Animal Crossing. Fishing and bug catching is one of the it's the most enjoyable thing in the game for me. I absolutely love doing it. Just collecting and obviously selling them for money and all of that. But I think at the end of the day, when it says, fishing, it's bad for the environment, you leave fishing line around, yeah, that's fair enough. So if in real life, don't stop fishing. Fishing's fun, but don't leave your fishing line. If you're catching bugs, make sure you're nice to them. I don't know. Who actually catches bugs in real life? Not me anyway. But this is something from the actual guide itself. So I'm just going to go through it. So they got a frequently asked question section. So is it okay to catch bugs in Animal Crossing? And they say, from butterflies to wharf roaches, your island is a bustling home for various insects and little animals. Keep it that way. So, okay. Bathurst would like to build a museum of fish and insects on your island. Don't let him do it. Just as fish don't belong in tanks, insects will become inside cramped cases in the museum for other villagers to gawk at. Your island should be a place where wild animals are free to live without being captured or exploited. In the real world, animals suffer in captivity, places like SeaWorld and roadside zoos. They're deprived of everything that's natural and important to them. In Animal Crossing, you have the choice to let animals on your island live from harm, so please leave them alone. And points like this, places like SeaWorld and that, it's just don't put a whale in a small tank. It doesn't like that. I get these points. I do get these points. But, yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Let's start the ramble. Also, this is I'll go through this quickly, but this is another one from Nintendo Live, which I didn't put after the other Brie Larson one. But Brie Larson said she's more than happy to be in an Animal Crossing movie. And we've already heard how Captain Marvel star and Oscar-winning Brie Larson would like to play Samus Aran in the Metroid movie. But now, in an interview with People.com, she's been asked if she would be interested in starring in a movie adaptation of Animal Crossing. This was her response. Of course, I support Animal Crossing all the way. Through and through. I think it's good for our hearts. If you're not convinced with the idea of Brie appearing in an Animal Crossing movie, in the same interview, she revealed how she's been a long-time fan of Nintendo long-running lifestyle series. It turns out she's actually been playing these games with her sister since the GameCube release. The original game, the first time I played it was on Nintendo's GameCube, and it was just so important to me and my sister. My mum set up a rule: whoever finished their homework got to play first. It was an amazing tool for us to finish our homework. I'm so excited to make new memories with my sister. Again, we're adults now, and yet still have just such a deep love for this game, and it's really fun to talk with it about her. So there you go. An Animal Crossing movie. There is an Animal Crossing movie, which I haven't actually watched yet, but that actually came out like a long time ago, maybe like the early 2000s. I should get around to watching it. I got no idea. I don't hear anyone really talk about it. I don't know if it's because it's not that good or what, but yeah. So let's talk about Animal Crossing sales. Animal Crossing New Horizons in the first 3 days has absolutely killed it. So this is another one from Nintendo Life. And the title says, Animal Crossing New Horizons has just had the biggest launch of any Switch game ever in Japan. So hold on to your hats, folks. We imagine we're going to have several stories like this one popping up over the next few weeks. Yes, a new Geo Corporation data report says for Animal Crossing New Horizons has just had the biggest opening weekend of any game in the console's 3-year history in Japan. As noted by VGC, this would put the game's first 3 sales ahead of Pokemon Sword and Shield's total of 1.3 million and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate tally of 1.2 million. The game has also seen tremendous early success in the UK. Our first glimpse of the sales, chart data from the UK shows that the title went straight to number 1, beating all past Animal games launch titles combined. Currently, the best-selling Animal Crossing game of all time is Animal Crossing New Leaf, which sold 12.45 million copies as of December 2019. It might be early to say so, but we wouldn't be surprised if New Horizons eventually saw past this figure. And this one is from Vux.net. Earlier this week, we saw Animal Crossing New Horizons topple Doom Eternal in the UK, and now results are in for Japan, and it's a massive result. Animal Crossing has sold physically in stores a massive 1.88 million copies, and that's just in the first 3 days of sale. This only includes physical games, not download cards, and does not include digital sales. The previous record was held by Pokemon Sword and Shield at 1.36 million. Animal Crossing also helped Nintendo shift a massive 392,000 Switch and Switch Lite units. This is more units than when the Switch originally launched in 2017. And this is a tweet from Alex on Twitter. His tag is convoluted. Is CVX Freak. Don't know what that stands for, but Animal Crossing New Horizons has sold 1,880,000 copies in its first week in Japan, setting a new record for the Switch. The Switch Plus Switch Lite has sold, that amount of units. And the article also says that, to put a cherry on top, Nintendo has now outsold the Wii in Japan just under 3 years. So that is massive. So I was talking to Bobby, the Nintendo guru, on his Animal Crossing podcast, Breaking Bells, last week. And he asked me the question, do you think that Animal Crossing could be the fastest selling game on Nintendo Switch? And I thought it was going to be up there. But I definitely did not think it could beat Pokemon. Pokemon coming at the holiday, Pokemon being the massive franchise it is, Pokemon having 2 copies that even people like myself bought. Big fans are like, all right, I'm going to get the pack that includes 2 games with a steel case. And Animal Crossing in the UK and, we don't know about America just yet as I'm recording this, but Japan has been the fastest selling game, almost coming to 2 million copies worldwide, which is absolute amazing. I can't believe how every game that comes out on Switch is just a success. And not only are they a success, they're all fantastic games. There hasn't been, I can't really think of a game that's sort of come out and it hasn't just been a super polished, excellent version of that particular franchise. The only one I could even think about putting under that title might be Pokemon. Pokemon is very much a Pokemon game, and it's very much, you can look at it and go, oh, that's an updated 3DS game. But even Pokemon, man, Pokemon Sword and Shield is really good. Absolutely fantastic, and they're still supporting it with events, with it's in the raid dens in the wild area. They got DLC coming out in a couple of months, which I'm really looking forward to. But just with Animal Crossing, man, absolutely fantastic. And this is a series that we're gonna see in the top 10 charts easily. I think, because what is it? Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu is sitting at about 10 point something million copies at the moment. So Animal Crossing is gonna beat that. I can't see it beating Pokemon totally. Maybe when the next Pokemon comes out, Pokemon Sword and Shield sales will just stop, and Animal Crossing is a basically evergreen game until the next console or the next Animal Crossing come out, which is going to be a long time, especially as we've seen, this game's taken about 8 years to develop. So this is going to be a massive selling game, and Animal Crossing was always such a niche Nintendo franchise. It wasn't much. It started off on the GameCube, and it was a port essentially of a Nintendo 64 DD game, which never came outside of Japan. Then it came to DS, and it got a few more features. It came portable for the first time, and then on the Wii, City Folk, it was like, oh yeah, it was fine type of thing. But it wasn't until New Leaf where it really exploded, and it sold a lot of copies. And now on the Switch, people are trying it for the first time. Big Animal Crossing fans are trying it for the first time. Big Nintendo fans are trying it for the first time who hadn't tried the series before. This is going to be a massive game, guys, and I'm really happy about it. So hopefully we keep seeing more games in the future. Alrighty. So moving away from Animal Crossing news, at least for a little bit. So this article is from mynintendonews.com, and it's about Pokemon Home. So Pokemon Home has been downloaded on mobile devices 2,300,000 times in its first 30 days of availability. So Pokemon Home is available on mobile devices and Nintendo Switch. Sensor Tower, however, only reports on data of the former. For example, Sensor Tower looked at the first 30 days of Pokemon Home's availability. According to Sensor Tower, Pokemon Home has been downloaded on mobile devices 2,030,000 times in the first month of availability, as well as 2,060,600,000 in consumer spending. It has been downloaded. When it comes to the numbers, I just like to stop. 1,300,000 times in its first week of availability. The largest portion of Pokemon Home's installations on mobile devices come from the United States, with 695,000 installs, which is 30.2% of overall installations. And Japan is second with 4,046,000, which is 19.4%. The United States also did the most spending at 38.5% of the total, or 1 million. Once again, Japan is the second with 867,000. More than half of the installations happened in Pokemon Home's first week of availability. Sensor Tower also says that the 1 month premium plan, so that's $3 American, has also been the most popular, followed by the 12-month plan, which is $16 American. And the 3-month plan, that is $5 American. Lastly, they provided information suggesting that a lot of subscribers who subscribed on day one for a monthly plan continued their subscriptions for another month, saying that revenue doubled between March 11th and 12th. Exactly 1 month after release. You can see the chart with more information of Pokemon Home's first month of downloads below. So the United States is really up there with numbers I said before. Then coming on third is Great Britain with 119 downloads, while Germany is fourth at 116 downloads. Then France is coming fifth with 98,000 downloads. So Pokemon Home obviously making a nice amount of money for the Pokemon company. They're still ironing out a lot of sort of glitches and all that. There was an issue with the game registering whether you had completed your national dex, which gives you a Magneto. Oh, I had it before. Anyway, you got a special Pokemon, you got a mythical Pokemon for doing it, but the game was sort of had trouble recognizing whether you got it or not. So let's move on to news from big old mean Nintendo. So big old mean Nintendo is closing down people using its IP for making money or just for having fun, basically. So there's two of these stories. So this one is from Nintendo Life. Nintendo shuts down Kickstarter campaign over Animal Crossing copyright infringement. Nintendo is well known for being understandably protective over its products and trademarks. So it comes as a little surprise that the gaming giant has taken legal action on a Kickstarter campaign found guilty of copyright infringement. The New Adventures Passport travel holder launched with a funding target of £1,000, giving backers a passport holder, luggage tags, and a lanyard for their cash. That might sound innocent enough on its own, but advertising promoted the product as a cute animal pattern passport cover for your new adventures crossing the horizons. Wow. And basically what it is, it's what it says. It's a passport holder, it's tags. It's just like it's like it looks like Animal Crossing. There's a lanyard with like the villages on there, all different ones. There's Isabelle and a couple of other ones which I can't name. No Filbert though, so you won't be getting any of my money, even though you've closed it down. So the Kickstarter page now reads, New Adventures Passport travel holder is the subject of an intellectual property dispute and currently unavailable. It reportedly managed to earn, holy shit, £34,000 in backing support before it was shut down. The DMCA can also be found online. Nintendo owns copyrights of all aspects of its Animal Crossing video game franchise, including not limited to the audio, visual work, imagery, and fictional character descriptions covered by the US copyright. The reported campaign displays images of Nintendo's copyrighted protected Animal Crossing characters and the images in connection with the creation of products that make unauthorized use of Animal Crossing characters and images, all in violations of Nintendo's rights. So that was the first one. And the one a lot of you guys would have heard was about Dreams, the game by Media Molecule on PlayStation 4. So the article reads also from My Nintendo Life. Not My Nintendo. I keep on saying that. I'm getting My Nintendo News and Nintendo Life mixed up. Maybe I should start a site called My Nintendo Life. Just get the SSO from both of them. No, I won't do that. Last weekend, news surfaced on social media that Sony had begun to take action against certain uploads and project in Media Molecule's latest title, Dreams. In particular, Nintendo-themed ones. A user named Piece of Craft shed light via Twitter, explaining how they had supposedly been contacted by the Legal and Business Affairs Division of SIE Europe, and Nintendo had reportedly objected to the use of Super Mario IP in game. Now, according to the update on gamesindustry.biz, it's been confirmed that Sony is working to take down even more Nintendo-themed creations. Here's its exact statement. Sony Interactive Entertainment is notifying the affected users that an IP infringement notice has been received from Nintendo and that all content will be removed. We cannot comment on volume and content to be removed. This is done on an individual case-by-case basis. Seemingly, it's the end of the road for all of those Super Mario recreations and Dreams. Even if creators attempt to upload them from now on, projects will be moderated and removed for containing copyright material. So I guess this is my thoughts on a lot of people. There's a lot of videos out there and sort of, tweets or whatever it is, like, big old bad Nintendo. Just let us have fun with your characters. Don't be so mean. Come on, you big money hungry bastards. And while yes, I've been looking at Dreams for a long time. It came out in early access on PlayStation 4 sometime last year, and I was like, I've been following the game and I wanted to jump in and get the early access, and I only just bought the game a week or so ago. I haven't actually played it yet. And I've been wanting the game anyway, but a big push was there was actually a video on Nintendo Life's YouTube channel where Alex was playing Mario recreations in Dreams. I was like, all right, it's fun making your own stuff. It's fun playing random stuff, but just the really good and so bad they're good recreations are just really fun to just watch and play. So that was actually a big push of why I bought the game on PlayStation in the first place. And while it is a shame that I won't be able to enjoy that or get to play or make or whatever I want in regards to that, it's just as Nintendo, I wouldn't want people having access to Mario on PlayStation. I know those games aren't going to be why do I need to buy Super Mario Odyssey if I can just get Dreams and play it there? Of course not. But think about it like a kid's playing a game and he's playing Dreams and he comes over a Mario level. It's, oh, cool. Mario's on here, and he sort of associates the Mario brand with PlayStation. Obviously, Nintendo, their whole business is built off of their IP, so they protect it as hard as they need to make sure it's in the best hands. So there's a lot of projects, whether it was the Metroid 2 remake on PC, which wasn't being monetized or anything, but they canned that because they can't just let it go. One of the reasons being that if you don't look after your copyright, you can lose it. So if people are just willy-nilly using your IP and you're not doing anything about it, you can lose that IP, the rights to the name and everything. So you can't do that. And as I said, with the Media Molecule Dreams Mario games, it's just I personally wouldn't want them on there either. But it is a shame because it is fun just like making stuff in Dreams. And there was actually Zach Ryan made a point, Zach Ryan from Nintendo Voice Chat. He said on Twitter basically that, when you're a kid, you're learning to draw. You're drawing Mario characters, you're drawing your favorite Ninja Turtles, you're drawing like your favorite cartoon characters. But I guess the difference here is that you're sharing them and it's on a competitor's console, and yeah, it's more than just drawing a picture, I feel. But it was an interesting point. But as far as the Animal Crossing sort of Kickstarter goes, like you're literally selling merchandise using Nintendo's IP, and you're making money, a lot of money. And not only that, through the Kickstarter, you'll continue making money just selling it once you've got the Kickstarter and you can keep producing it. So yeah, and we all know that like there's T-shirts and all of that using Nintendo IP that can't be controlled, and Nintendo, they're not official or anything, but it's just what it is, man. It is what it is, and it does suck, but especially with like people like using Metroid or Pokemon for making an RPG or a Metroidvania or something. I always think to myself, like, I would love, if I was making games, I'd be like, oh, it'd be so cool, I'll make a Pokemon game. But at the same time, it's like, just make your own IP, which isn't easy, mind you. And then you can actually, once it's finished and you get to a point, maybe you can actually sell that product. That's how I say it anyway. But yeah, it is a shame because I was going to jump into Dreams and play some of these weird games. But yeah, there we are. So we're still going on the news. Holy shit, there's a lot of news. But basically, why I put so much news in here? Like, there's like a lot of news stories and that I don't hear covered on other podcasts. And this is obviously a Nintendo podcast, and we get into the nitty gritty of Nintendo news and what's going on. So if you don't want so much news, let me know, and I'll just get the big topics, whether it's about Animal Crossing and that. But I do want to go into sort of the more deeper things that other shows and that might not cover, because we're a hardcore Nintendo podcast, and I want to get all the news here. I don't know. So this is, I've got a lot of these from Nintendo Life because that's the site I was on today. I didn't mix it up that much, but this is all from my Nintendo Life. So Resident Evil 3 data mined uncovers curious references to Nintendo Switch. Last week, players on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One were treated to a demo of the upcoming Resident Evil 3 remake, which is following the recent Resident Evil 2 remake's footsteps of skipping the Switch. Curiously, a data miner has reportedly discovered a number of references to Nintendo Switch within the demo's code. A modder going by the name of Flaffy Quack also supposedly uncovered some interesting pieces of text. In some places, there are notifications present which relate specifically to the version of the game you're playing. One such example reads, "This game has an auto-save feature. Please do not turn off." Then it says PlayStation 4, Xbox One. Well, that's good to know, but why is there an option for Switch? So there's also a bit in the demo's code which says this game has an autosave feature. Do not turn off your Nintendo Switch console when the icon above is displayed. So let's try to figure this out. One explanation for these odd references could be that Capcom plans to release a Switch version later down the line, or perhaps it had considered a Switch port at one stage and decided against it before revealing the game to the public. Another theory could be that the game will make it to the Switch in the same way Resident Evil 7 did via a cloud version. The reasoning behind the code's existence is unknown, but it's hard not to wonder about what might have been. So just saying this, I'm like, oh, surely Resident Evil 3 is a very impressive looking game. And it's coming out soon. I haven't been keeping up with release date, but it's in the next couple of weeks. It's in April sometime. And the idea of it being on Switch is a bit far-fetched to me. I don't think it will be coming to Switch, but obviously with enough time and that it can be ported. I think The Witcher 3 has shown us that anything can be ported. They can dumb it down enough. They can make it look pretty butt ugly, especially in some areas, but it'll work. It'll work on Switch. So there's probably no doubt that if Capcom really take the time and they really want it on Switch, they can put a team onto it and dumb down the graphics, get it ported to Switch hardware, get it running, and maybe that's why there's an auto save there's an auto save sort of thing in the game for Nintendo Switch. I think what it's probably pointing just towards that they'll either just considering it or they're using some like code for their autosave feature that is across a few games, maybe even some of their remakes, or just not even remakes, but ports of like say Resident Evil 5, 6, 4. Maybe it's using the same autosave sort of code, and that's just like essentially copy and pasted between games, and that's just how they save in this game. And that just included the text for Nintendo Switch. I don't know if other games have been data mined from Capcom, whether it's a Resident Evil 2 remake, whether this includes that text as well. Because if it does, then I don't think this means much. But regardless, I wouldn't expect a Resident Evil 3 coming to Switch anytime soon. But, it kind of does make sense that these games somehow come to Switch, because Resident Evil, every other game up to 7, well, apart from 7 and up, is actually on Switch. Like there's 1, 2, is it 2? I don't know, but there's definitely most of them. I've got them all downloaded and I need to play. I definitely want to play 4. 4's haven't played 4 before. Haven't played 4 before. God. And I really want to give it a go, so that's definitely on my list, especially if I get stuck inside, which I probably won't because I work on a farm and there's not many people. So, all right, we're still moving with the news, ladies and gentlemen. So this is also from my Nintendo Life. So Sakurai says it's a total blank slate after he finishes Super Smash Bros. Ultimate DLC. So Sakurai is dedicated to making Super Smash Bros. Ultimate the best fighting game he possibly can. That's why he's working around the clock and even sometimes risking his own health to meet certain deadlines. Although there's a high probability that the second round of DLC fighters not proceeding as scheduled due to coronavirus outbreak, at the moment, that's all he's really focused on. It happens, though, when the DLC fighter development for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate finally wraps up. Not even Sakurai himself knows what the plans are at this stage, according to a recent comment he made in the latest issue of Japanese Famitsu. So Sakurai says, right now, all I can think about is producing DLC for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. After I finish that, though, it's a total blank slate. End quote. A total blank slate could be anything. Sakurai had previously noted this latest entry could be the last, or at least his last. But he said during the Wii U era as well, falling back on other franchises close to his heart. It's evident Kid Icarus fans would love to see a follow-up of the 3DS entry, Kid Icarus Uprising, or how about another title based on his own pink puffball Kirby, or even something new. So this is something I think about quite often. I'm a big Sakurai fan, absolutely love Smash Bros. I love just the way he approaches development, how he puts absolutely everything he possibly can into a game. And it really shows just with his titles. Even back to the old Kirby games, like there's just like so much content in each game. And I know this is a pretty trite answer for games I'd really like to see Sakurai make in the future. And even this article says it, but Kid Icarus Uprising was amazing. I absolutely loved it. I know the controls were not ideal. The 3DS without the second thumbstick and all of that just didn't make for an ideal experience. No, especially back then when the game came out in 2012, there was no XL version when Uprising came out. So you got this tiny screen, you got this tiny stylus, you're trying to aim. It even got shipped with a stand, the game itself, for you to sit on, so it didn't hurt your hands so much. But apart from the controls, if you put on a pair of headphones, you got the stand going, you're sat at the desk. That game was absolutely fantastic. The story was awesome. The characters were some of the most memorable characters I've played. And it sounds really weird coming from a handheld Kid Icarus game, but Hades is one of my favorite villains. Just so cheeky and funny and just condescending, and they're always talking in the background. And I know at the time that was a negative for a lot of people. It's like, oh my God, just shut up. But I love just the back and forth banter as you're going through. It was sort of like it was kind of like when you're playing a game and you're grinding or something, and you're listening to a podcast. It was kind of like that, but the actual game was like giving you a story through it. It was really interesting. So I would absolutely love to see Kid Icarus on Switch. But apart from that, like they suggest Kirby as well. Kirby, I don't see what Sakurai could do with a Kirby game. He's sort of left that, and HAL is just like developing Kirby games. But yeah, don't know. It would be really cool for him just to maybe have some really creative freedom and make a new IP in a genre he just wants to tackle. That could be really cool too. But maybe on the theme of tackling Nintendo franchises that we haven't seen in a long time, maybe he could. What could he do? What could Sakurai do? If I was head of Nintendo and I said, all right, Sakurai, your next job is to do this, what would I do? Like, he's obviously quite talented at doing action games. Obviously through Kid Icarus and Kirby's Air Ride on GameCube. Yeah, I don't really know. Like, I was thinking about this earlier, like maybe like an Earthbound game. I don't know what you could do with Earthbound. A lot of people are obviously wanting Mother 3 to come out in the West, but yeah, don't know. Something for us to think about anyway. I've got a question here from Metadox, and he asked, what are your thoughts on the next Smash DLC fighter getting delayed because of the virus? I've personally not been getting my hopes up for hearing about anything too soon, but if they do choose to announce something for it soon, I'm expecting a bit of a wait until release. So, as sort of stated by that article as well, the Smash Bros. DLC has been postponed because of coronavirus. Development has been, slowed down, and obviously with, just even if the character's ready to go, the amount of getting everyone in the office to do those sort of showcases as Sakurai does, playing the controller, getting the people in the same area, that's obviously not a great idea at the moment. So I think it's a good thing that they've postponed the DLC fighters. When it comes to getting delays, we're going to see a lot of delays throughout the games industry in 2020 because of the coronavirus. There's no way around it. Like the world, at least right now in this week, however long it's going to last for, I don't know. Whether it's a month, 2 months, 3 months, but it's going to put the world at a standstill. So yeah, like depends on how well their team is able to work from home and all of that. But look, I'm not worried at all about Smash DLC getting delayed. Like it's not gonna make or break me. I'm not necessarily like bursting for it. I'm not. When he announces it and says, all right, this is the character, I'm like, oh cool, I'm gonna give it a go. And if I enjoy him, I'm gonna learn him and get good and hopefully try and beat Bryce with it. But yeah, I'm not too worried. I just hope everyone's healthy and safe for the most part. And while we're sort of doing the question, so I'll answer Meta's other question. So he asks, what are your thoughts on getting a Nintendo Direct this week? With the rumors about a Direct coming after the Indie World's presentation and all, and what would you most want to see from said Direct, considering how little we know about this year's games? So this year's been real different, even before the coronavirus outbreak, that we didn't get a Direct in the first couple of months, which we usually do. It sort of outlines Nintendo's first 6 months leading up to E3 before the big announcements or that type of thing. And yeah, it is somewhat disappointing, but obviously they didn't have any games for the first 3 months anyway. So that's probably a big reason why we didn't get a Direct. I'll put money on saying we're not getting a Direct because Nintendo employees in the US, they're working from home. The virus is, picking up steam in the US. Japan's obviously very affected, like a lot of other countries. I don't see it happening. I don't know unless they have it in the can. Like, all right, we're going to put it on the 26th, like it's rumored, after Animal Crossing's out. We're going to give that a week to breathe, and then we'll announce a few games leading up to E3, which might be a few smaller first-party games or even second-party games mixed in with some nice third-party ports. I think that might be interesting, but I don't see us getting a big one because it's getting to the point now where it is getting to March, or not March, it's getting to June where there's no E3, but there will be a big Nintendo Direct. Just highlighting for the rest of the year and the games leading into holiday. But as for games that I think I'd really like to see, I've said before, but I don't think we'll get it this year, especially now with maybe delays on development. But Breath of the Wild 2, I would absolutely love to see that. I think that'll be an absolute fantastic game to like really bang off the year and compete with next generation consoles, which I also don't really think will come this year. Just for like the parts for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. So unless that was in production like a few months ago or even now, I just don't see how the factories and that are going to produce enough to really do a successful launch. But I might be wrong. I hope I'm wrong because I really want to get one. Probably, like, to be honest, I'm probably leaning more towards Xbox Series X at the moment. And that's a big thing for me because I'm a big PlayStation fan, but just all the backwards compatibility and Game Pass has really gotten me to look at it a bit more closely. But obviously, we there's a lot to know about the PlayStation 5. Don't even know what the thing looks like. We only know that it's got a very fast hard drive and that it's going to have some pretty games, so pretty much from Mark Cerny's talk a few days ago. Well, there's Breath of the Wild, and there was a rumor about Paper Mario. I would love to see a Paper Mario game. I think that'll be awesome. Go back to its RPG roots, and yeah, I don't want like another Sticker Star or Color Splash or whatever. But yeah, all right, I'm gonna have a glass of water. I've been talking for a long time. Holy shit! Have I been talking for an hour and 20 minutes? Holy shit! I'm sorry, everyone. I'm so sorry. Oh, man. All right. Delicious. All right. Well, let's get back into it. So this article comes from On Nintendo News, and this is North America. So due to the coronavirus pandemic, Nintendo has decided that our repair centers will remain closed until further notice. So if you live in North America and use Nintendo products, then you may want to make sure that nothing breaks for a while because unfortunately the coronavirus pandemic has resulted in more closures. Nintendo has announced on their North American support page that due to preventative measures put in place for the COVID-19 coronavirus in our accordance with the federal local guidelines, our repair centers are closed until further notice. We apologize for the inconvenience and appreciate your understanding. Once repair services resume, we will work as quickly as possible to get you playing again. As for the UK, it's somewhat a different story. Nintendo UK support page says that we are working hard to maintain high customer service standards during the current challenging times, but please understand that there are many delays in responses to messages as proceeding repairs. We would like to express our concern and support for all those affected by the COVID-19 outbreak during this challenging time. Thank you for your understanding and for your patience. So, end quote. So, if you're trying to contact them in North America, it will not work for you. And this is another COVID-19 news story related to Animal Crossing. Nintendo says that post-launch content for Animal Crossing New Horizons might shift due to the coronavirus pandemic. Animal Crossing New Horizons has been a great help to people that have had socially distanced themselves and self-quarantined due to the coronavirus pandemic. So far, the impact that the pandemic has had on Nintendo's 2020 release schedule has been minimal, but that may change. Animal Crossing New Horizons director Ayla Goku and producer Hishami Nogami talked to the Washington Post about the pandemic's impacts on the game's post-launch content. The pair said development on updates is still going, but there's some uncertainty. They said that we're working, not sure if we have to shift anything, but we think we have to be flexible. Currently, the devs team's hours have changed in an effort to avoid rush hour train traffic. Nogami says that in terms of the development team, we have to think about their health and well-being as well. So when they say updates, I don't know, all they've sort of discussed about updating the game is adding the necessary events to the game, whether it's for Easter, Christmas, Halloween, that type of thing. So I don't know if they're talking about that or updates for the game which relate to just like bug fixes or maybe DLC content down the line apart from holiday content. So I'm not actually sure what they're referring to, because if it comes around to Easter and they haven't got the Easter content ready, then we just don't get Easter in the game. I don't know if that's necessarily what they're saying, but that would be odd if that was the case. What we got here? So this is just a little interesting one. So this is from Nintendo Life. Oh, I did it again. This is from Nintendo Life. Nintendo donates thousands of respirator masks to fire and rescue teams in the United States. A lot of major companies around the world at the moment are doing their part to help combat the spread of coronavirus outbreak, and now Nintendo has joined the fight. As N95 respirator masks are among some of the most requested items for first responders and healthcare providers, Nintendo's North Bend production facility in North America has generously donated thousands of face masks and other personal protective equipment to the East Side and Fire Rescue. At this crisis is unprecedented, and the safety and security of community members is inbound. So that's just a nice story. It's kind of weird how they just had so many face masks just at disposal, but Facebook had like almost 1 million face masks that they donated as well. So it seems like a lot of these companies just have a lot of these safety items just in case something goes wrong, whether it's in the company buildings itself or whatever. It might be a fire. So they just have all this stuff ready to go. So now that a lot of these companies are donating their stuff. So this is the press release from Nintendo representative Jerry Danson. So Danson stated the masks were originally purchased for emergency preparedness planning. However, amidst the COVID-19 crisis, we knew there were needed elsewhere. East Side Fire and Rescue staff will be distribute the masks throughout the region and address immediate needs, including the city of North Bend. So, yeah. So this is something that affects Australia. So this is from kotaku.com.au. And EB Games suspends trades, repair services and cash payments. So after weeks of no announcements, Australia's largest specialty video game retailer has begun changing the ways they operate in the face of the global coronavirus pandemic. EB Games will be suspending their reboot program, will no longer be accepting trade-ins of older video games and hardware, and will no longer accept cash payments from tomorrow. Staff at EB Games were informed of the changes throughout the company's intranet this afternoon, which can be accessed through computers at every store. The changes are a direct response to the effort of the coronavirus on regular trade and are fairly new. Just yesterday, EB Game employees were telling customers that they will still accepting trades. And this is another one from Kotaku Australia. So EB Games just broke the street date on a few releases. So a few of them aren't on Nintendo, but Persona 5 The Royal street date was broken, as well as Dirt Rally 2.0, and what else was there? One Piece Pirate Warriors, and there was one for Switch. Where was it? I think it was Saints Row port. Yeah, so I think EB Games in Australia, they're preparing for the stores to be shut down. A friend of mine on Twitter, Infernal Monkey, he put up a video basically, well, it was just a picture actually, of all the stores in a shopping centre shut except for food stores and EB Games. So I think they're getting ready to be told that you're going to have to shut your doors. So that all the big releases coming in the next few weeks, they're like, all right, we're putting them out now. We've got to make our money before we shut, which is fair enough. I just hope the publishers behind the games don't get too offended and they didn't do it without their blessing. But yeah. All right. Holy crap. We got through the news, everyone. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize I was going so long. Well, to be honest, so this is the situation I'm in. My computer stopped recording. It gave me a warning saying that I didn't have enough disk space, and now the Rodecaster Pro is just recording by itself. But I've got a smaller memory card in there, and I've got 17 minutes left to go. So let's jump into Reggie's rec room, and I'm gonna use his phone to do a nice use his phone to ring a good friend of mine. His name might start with B and end with Rice, and you might recognise him. So let's jump in the Reggie's rec room, everyone.
Hi, Nintendo fans. Reggie here. Thank you for your never-ending support, for giving me a mushroom kingdom full of incredible memories that I will never forget. Ever.
All right, Reggie, thank you very much for that drink, buddy. All right, so we're going to ring Bryce DeWitt. I've got the Bluetooth and that ready to go. Hopefully it works out for me. So, Reggie, I'm on the phone, mate. Turn it down. Turn it down, thank you. That'd be great. Holy. Oh. Bryce, pick up the phone, mate.
Hello.
Bryce DeWitt, you're on the House of Murray. How you going, mate?
Hi, bud. How are you?
I'm good. So I've been recording for an hour and a half, and I didn't even realise I had a lot of news articles and that up, and my computer actually stopped recording, and but my Rodecaster Pro is still going, so that was obviously a good investment in the end. So that's
strange.
Yeah. So I've got 16 minutes left on the memory card until the show's going to stop recording. So we've got to make this quick.
Okay, man.
Yeah. So how you been the last week? You've been in lockdown, so let us know that.
Yeah, mate. So we've been pretty sick here, and we're not sure if it's the thing. So we're kind of just being safe about it. Jed and I sort of just got it today. He's had it for about 4 or 5 days. So she's not too well, and Arthur's just got it, so he's not doing too great either. So we're just playing it by ear and seeing how we go.
Mm. So has Animal Crossing been helping you out much, or kill some time?
Sorry?
Has Animal Crossing been helping you kill some time?
Somewhat. I mean, like I sort of get on and do my dailies and run around and do a couple things, and I haven't been... It's one of those things that it's just like, hey, I can just, put it on, play for a little bit, put it down, go to sleep, try to get over what we've got going through. So it's been really good.
Yeah. What fruit did you get in your village?
I got peaches.
You got peaches, cool. See, I got pears, and I was thinking, like, in real life, that's probably the fruit which I probably wouldn't eat out of all of them.
Really?
I don't mind pears, but I never go out of my way to buy them.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like over an apple or whatever, but.
See, I think I probably prefer them over apples.
Do you? Yeah.
Yeah, could just be me.
So, what? I just hit my pop filter into my mouth when I went to.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. So, there's the reviews and all that have been pretty good. You're pretty happy with the game, how it's come out.
Yeah, so it's been a pretty good improvement over on Animal Crossing in general, which is nice. Having the deposit box, the deposit box at the Nook is so good, and then having the ability to sort of craft tools right off the bat and just get to work pretty much immediately, and spending your Nook miles or some tickets and finding some islands to get some more villages or find some rare and unique spawns and stuff like that. Just little stuff that makes the game a little bit more sort of enticing to keep going.
Yeah, like there's those little, I guess, parts in the game where you're like, oh, well, I caught a fish, I got some money. Like, what do I do now? You're thinking, then you just like check your Nook miles and, oh, well, I'll go and chop down a tree because I only have to chop down one and I'll get 100 Nook miles. So it's like you've always got that little like tiny little kick on to like do something, and then you might chop down that tree. Then you might think to yourself, I might chop down a couple more trees because those stumps make really good seats. Then I'll put like a table there, and like it just like kickstarts maybe some creativity.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the big draw to the game for most people at this current time. I mean, it is the best-selling Animal Crossing on first week, like ever, and not to mention the best-selling Animal Crossing of all weeks combined.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Like I was talking about this earlier in the episode, but can you believe that it's the fastest-selling Switch game, and that beat Pokemon?
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. I mean, that could be like attributed to what's going on with the world at the moment, and people worrying about not being able to get their copies and like all that stuff because there's people like me that like their physical copies. Yeah. So it could be attributed to that, but I mean, otherwise, yeah, it's really good for the series because, well, hey, it's one of those series that doesn't otherwise get a huge rolling amount of attention. I think New Horizons has probably been the best place to start for this game because, like you said earlier, with the Nook Miles, that system really kicks on the rest of the game and really helps you find like a goal, which beforehand in older Animal Crossings it was a little bit harder. Like with New Leaf, you were like, well, my goal is to build like park benches and stuff. As mayor because that's my duty and like all that, but being able to contribute your own resources so heavily in this game and having to go out of your way to go out and actually find people to come to your town like off the get-go and stuff like that, it gives it a little bit more flavor. I feel like this tutorial section is supposed to last about a week. I'm not sure what the cheaters have said about it, because we all know that people have been time traveling and duplicating money and everything. But I have a feeling like this is supposed to go on for about a week before you're like, I guess that's my plan for the next however long, and whatever that means in the long run. Whether Nook Miles are going to attribute to something much larger or whatever it may be is up on the cards. So I suppose we'll just wait and see how it goes. Yeah.
Like the last day, like I seriously played it was day 4, and that's when you get the ladder and you can go to the higher bits in your island. And it's kind of a shame because I got to the top, I'm like, oh, I want my house here. And you can move your house, but I think it was like 30,000 bells. I'm like, there's a fair bit, yeah.
300,000 or 30,000?
Just 30,000, yeah.
30,000. It's not too bad, I suppose, but it's a little bit of running around if you don't get lucky and catch yourself a shark or whatever it may be.
3 sharks, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So just before I let you go, what's your favourite activity to sort of do in the game at the moment? Whether it's catching fish, bugs, or is it like decking out your island with paths and patterns, or what's your favourite thing to do so far?
I don't really want to get too far into like the pattern side or like decking up my island just yet without going through this tutorial section. I think mainly because your island's constantly developing until you've got your three villages that you've invited. You unlock the opportunity to make custom bridges, and then you've got the town centre that officially goes up after your third village has moved in from those 3. So I'm sort of just waiting out before I do anything too extensive. So at the moment, I guess the best thing to do for me is go and fish. I mean, I think that's the case for most people, just catching the endemic life and either stocking up to sell or catching bugs or whatever it may be, and donating it to the museum. I'm not too worried about museum completion per se. I kind of want to just build up my store of bells for when I need it, because some of those later bridges and stuff, they cost up to like 200,000 bells. So I really got to sort of stockpile money while I've got the free chance, and then when those things unlock, that's when I want to be doshing all my bells on that. So fish has probably been the best way to do it, and it's interesting to see what comes out of the water. You don't always find the same thing. Sometimes you get something really nice, but yeah, for now, I'll go with fishing.
Yeah, fishing's my favorite thing too. It's just so relaxing, and you can do it while you're just watching TV or something in handheld mode. Same with bug catching. I enjoy that too. But yeah,
you don't even have to look at it, which is good. You just chuck your line in the water, and as soon as you know that you've got the fish's attention, you can keep it away, and then you can just hear for the sound cue and hit A. And you watch whatever you're watching.
Yeah, I'm not quite that talented. I got to watch it a little bit, but
I don't. I'm not too bad with it. But that's from years of playing games with this kind of mechanics where sound cues are a big thing.
Yeah. Like sometimes when there's a shark or something, like you get a bit nervous, you get a bit jumpy with your thumb, like don't want to bugger this up because I need this money, I need it.
See, the thing is when I recently realized that you could use manila clams to make bait. Yeah, I went and made a bunch of bait. I'm like, I wonder what this does, because I never really thought about it. I'm like, maybe it just makes the fish easier to catch. And then I used it near the water while there was a shark in front of me, not thinking, this could have reprehensible, consequences. And I threw some bait in the water, and it completely made my shark run away. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking.
Oh, damn it. And then it spawned a smaller fish. I'm like, shit.
Yeah, and that's another really cool thing about the games too. Like, there's like heaps of things like it comes up, and you're thinking to yourself, "What does this do?" Or you see something like, "How do I get that?" Or how do I activate this? It's like it's one of those games that back at school it would have been like, "How do you do this?" or "How do you meet this character?"
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Have you had any? What's your time limit there, buddy?
Well, we're looking at 6 minutes, but I've started recording on the computer again. I don't know why that died, but I'll get it mushed together so we don't have to.
Well, we'll make it real quick then. Have you had many random island events?
I've had a Gulliver come. I've had the Wisp, the ghost come. I've had was it Maisie, the turnip seller, come. And it's funny because I bought 10 turnips, and just for you guys out there who don't know what we're talking about, but every Sunday morning Maisie comes and you can buy turnips off of her, and it's going to be a random price. And then throughout the week, at the store you can sell them, and it's a random price, so you can either make money or lose money. And they call it the stalks, as in like the stocks. So you're basically playing the stock market. I accidentally ate my turnips. By accident. I was just like, I wanted to put them down just so I could put something else in my inventory. I'm like, I'll just put these on the ground for now. And I accidentally ate them all. Yeah. But it turns when I checked the price the next day, I actually would have lost 10 bells a turnip. So it wasn't such a big deal.
Well, that's all right.
Have you played with the stalk?
No problems there.
Have you played with the stalk markets at all?
No, I have not. I've only had Gulliver once, which I couldn't find any of the parts for his phone, by the way. I don't know how the fuck you're supposed to find them.
You know how the clams are like squirting out the water? They're just in there. Just dig with your shovel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, I lost that opportunity then. And then I got Wisp once. I've had people getting meteor showers and stuff like that at the same time that I've been playing. But
really?
As far as I can tell, you can't. That isn't dictated by like your date or anything like that. So I guess it's just another random event. So I haven't got anything like that. But those are the only stuff I've had. So.
Excellent. Well, I know I said the last question before, but I guess the last question: if you're sort of trying to explain this game to newcomers who like, what the hell is Animal Crossing? I've never played it in my life, but I'm bored. I'm stuck at home. No other Nintendo franchise came out this year and not in the foreseeable future. How would you explain it to them to sort of say, hey, this is a good series you should try?
I mean, if you're stuck inside and you want to be outside, it's a good game to pretend you're outside.
Yeah.
So there you go. I mean, that's pretty much it.
In a nutshell.
I mean, if you want to put it, if you want to put it into like more eloquent terms, it's Minecraft light in a lot of ways.
It
about
definitely
building up your space and area.
It'll definitely get there once you get the permits, so you can like really like design your island how you want it. Yeah.
Yeah, it starts off slow and it builds into more of like creating more of a little township, and and then it just sort of just becomes a life game after that. You don't have to worry about too much. You just go in there and see what you can do for the day, see if you can collect any rare items, and that's what you do. That's Animal Crossing, right?
Yeah. At the start of the podcast, I sort of like I tried to describe it in a bit different way. A lot of people just say, "Oh, if you've played Harvest Moon or Stardew Valley, you know what this game is." But I think this game is really different to those games in a similar genre. And I sort of said like, I know this was a bit weird, but like say in Breath of the Wild, you're running around, you're either gathering equipment to craft, you're either thinking about getting Korok seeds, you're thinking about taking down big monsters to get the stuff from. And Animal Crossing, like while there's no combat, it is kind of similar in like the loop and what you're thinking. Do you agree with that?
I mean, yes.
In some ways, yeah.
I think it's more plain day-to-day life. Well, than anything else.
Yeah, obviously, it's a very different game to Zelda, but just like what's going on in your head and what makes it fun is kind of similar in some weird way.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's one of those games that you sort of get in and you think you're going to be in for a grind fest, and I think like. Just looking at the staggering numbers for your like house repayments and stuff like that, you're like, oh god, I'm going to have to grind a whole bunch and all that stuff. And I don't think Animal Crossing is made with the intention of that. I think it's made with like, you pick it up for half an hour, you do your thing, you put it down, you go back to it later, and you just sort of just slowly build off that. It's really, your experience is going to be based on the time investment, definitely, because that's just how it is. But it's not demanding of you. You're not opening the game going, right, I've got to do this. I've absolutely got to do this. Otherwise, if I don't meet the thing by this time, unless of course you're like at the end of the day and you really want your house built tomorrow, that's like, I suppose, a defining thing. But a lot of people just use it to make some pretty things, and I think that's the charm of Animal Crossing in itself. With a lot of games like Minecraft and stuff like that is efficiency.
Yeah.
So like when you're building or making things, people build for efficiency reasons. So they make, redstone contraptions and whatever it may be to like auto farm your vegetables and all that stuff. And it's not really the case with this. It's kind of just like discovering what's on your island each day, because it changes every day, and you just do your thing. You sort of get in a loop of exiting your house, checking what's at the nook cranny, and seeing what the villagers are up to, collecting your fruits, seeing if there's any fossils, and then moving forward doing that. And I mean, I think that's the magic of it, really, is that you have your routine every time you get on. You see if there's anything interesting. If you feel like playing a bit more, you can.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Have you? Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I just said yeah.
All right. So tarantula season is obviously not upon us.
No.
Right. As it is in the northern hemisphere, where everybody is getting tarantulas.
Yeah, it makes me sad. I want a bunch of tarantulas to sell.
Have you managed to run into a scorpion yet?
No, I haven't. I haven't run into any of the deadly bugs yet.
I did last night, and it sucked because I went to turn around to catch it, and it got just past my net and stung me, and I ended up back at my house. So it was very sad.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, scorpion, and then it started bull charging me. It was like worse than wasps.
Where did you find it? The beach or
northern side of the island?
Northern side of the island. Okay.
Yeah, so it was just among a bunch of trees, and I guess I just started it, and then all of a sudden I saw it moving towards me. I'm like, oh, it's going to chase me. I'm like, all right, well, if I run around and then quickly turn and then hit my bug net, I should be able to get it, but I just missed it. I managed to catch wasps once by doing that.
Yeah.
But they're a pain in the ass once you get into it. They start chasing you, and you've got to try and loosen them up a bit or get your net out quick enough, and then turn around and whack them one. And I mean, it's the same thing with the scorpion, but they're usually hiding amongst like all the weeds and stuff, so they're a little harder to spot at first.
Mm.
And by the time that they've caught you, you've caught their attention. You've really got to be on the ball to hit them with the net. And it's from what I can tell, it's pretty much the same with tarantulas, but they earn you an absolute ton of money.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's like,
I saw like the tweets where people are going to an island and there's 4 tarantulas that spawn in the center, and basically you can catch 3 tarantulas. When you get the second one to bite you, then you get respawned back to the boat or the plane, and then you can go back in and they've respawned, so you can like get a whole inventory full of them, and you can sell them.
Yeah.
You can sell them for about 8,000 each, and then if you sell them all at once, you'll be able to get. You'll be able to get
it's over
like,
$200,000.
Yeah, like a crazy amount. Yeah, which would be like a house repayment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, so this is the first time I said last question before you go, but this is a question we got from Garrett Bland, and for guys that don't know, he has just become one of the co-hosts on Nintendo Shack, which is another Nintendo podcast by the Play Some Video Games Network. So congratulations, Garrett. So he asks, does weather affect your mood on what you want to play? And he says, for me, when it's raining, I tend to play more horror or narrative-based games. So Bryce, what weather and what games do you enjoy the most, sort of married together?
I don't think weather affects how I play. I'm not even sure temperature does really, but unless if I'm in the situation where I maybe need to be rugged up on the couch or something like that, maybe I'll plug my Switch in instead of my computer, and then go from there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I could end up playing Zelda or Mario Kart or Odyssey or whatever it may be on my Switch. But if it's sort of comfortable enough weather to be out of a blanket, then I'll get on the computer and play something typically.
Yeah. Like for me,
Look, Daddy, look.
Oh. For me, when I was younger on the farm, like when it was raining on the weekend, that means I didn't have to work. So I'm like, oh yes. So I associate like raining just like cuddling up and grabbing a handheld. Probably would have been like the DS or something, and like playing Pokemon or Mario or New Super Mario Bros was a big one. That's just like a real comfort food for me. New Super Mario Bros on DS, because it's pretty easy and you can get through it in about 5 hours or so. Just playing through it naturally. And that's a big one for me. Just like raining and just like curling up and grabbing a handheld, which was whatever game you want to play at the time. And yeah, so thank you very much for your question, Garrett. And good luck with your co-hosting on Nintendo Shack. So, Bryce, I'm going to have to let you go now. I'm going to ring up Buddy and get his thoughts on first time playing Animal Crossing. This is the first game in the series he's tried. So,
ooh, Buddy Watson.
Buddy Watson.
Buddy Watson. Say hello to Buddy Watson for me.
All right, we'll do.
All right.
Thanks for your time, dude, and I'll catch you later.
Goodbye, my friend. Yep, I'll see you after this whole thing's over.
All righty. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, well, I might not see you for another 5 years.
Oh, God.
No,
the way it's going.
Yeah. Actually, so just so the audience sort of gets our planning as well, are you going to be back on next week or through a remote recording, or what's your thinking?
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. The whole reason I couldn't really do it this week is because even now, talking like extended time, I've got a really itchy and sore throat. So keeping up an hour's worth of talk is really difficult. So I kind of just had to pass it off and whatever. And we're all tired. The kids are cranky. It's best to just sort of lay it off for the week and come back the following week.
Sure.
Obviously, at the moment, being sick, it's not nice. I still don't know whether it's the thing. I don't think it is at this point. I think it is probably just the flu. But
I think you're
given-
okay. I think you are okay, but it is scary because like I've been working like in pretty dusty places, and you know my lungs are like a bit sore just from sucking in dust like through my nose and that all day. And like I've got like a bit of a sore chest. I'm like, oh god, should I go and get a test? Like it's in the back of your mind. Like it's all the time, isn't it?
Yeah, but the problem is it's not that easy as well. I mean, that's why we've been isolating, is because we can't just go and get a test. It's not a thing that can be done with them being restricted and whatnot. You know, you've just got to be vigilant and trying to, you know, get healthy. And if anything serious comes along, then you've got to go to the doctor. But I think for the most part, we're pretty all right in that regard. You know, the first couple cases have sort of entered our region in the last couple of days. I think we're up to 4 now.
Yeah, one went to hospital yesterday, and
yeah, that's right. And you know, just thinking of it from that point of view, you know, it could hit whenever. So we're sort of just playing it safe, playing it by ear, and hoping we don't get it, because we don't need it on top of the flu, because that would probably definitely kill us.
Yeah,
So,
that wouldn't be much fun at all.
No.
No, yes, obviously. Oh, I wish you all guys the best of luck, Bryce, and hope you get out of it soon. Because there's nothing worse. Like just mentally being like, all right, I'm sick. Is it like it's always on your mind? Like you can't get away from it. But,
Yeah, and I mean that is the issue. But hopefully, you know, this will pass up in the next couple of days, and I'll end up back on the show next week.
Yeah. Well, I hope you are, Bryce, and if you're not, well, I'll ring you again, and we'll just have like a quicker conversation. Even though it's been like 25 minutes we've been talking, but
yeah, like that's the problem. I want to talk about it, but now I'm starting to feel like crap. So I better call it.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than an itchy throat while trying the podcast. Yeah. Anyway, I'll let you go, Bryce. I'll let your throat recover, and I'll talk to you next week, hopefully.
Yeah, it should do, buddy.
Alrighty. Catch you, dude.
All right, man. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Bryce DeWitt. So now we're going to talk to Buddy Watson. If you don't know Buddy Watson, a really good friend of mine. He used to be on Dash Culture before he took a bit of a break from podcasting, because I think just the grind of every week talking about video games and that sort of was a bit much, because it is a huge commitment. But he is happy to guest on podcasts, and here he is now. So let's give him a ring. Let's give Buddy a ring. So Buddy hasn't played an Animal Crossing game before, which is cool. So we'll get a sort of thoughts on.
Hey man, what's happening?
Hey Buddy, welcome to the House of Mario. How we going, dude?
Yeah, good dude. What's new with you?
Oh, not too much. I've been sitting here talking to myself for over an hour. I've just been talking to Bryce about his Animal Crossing adventures over the last week or so.
Yes, very nice. It's actually, you know, selling gangbusters at the moment. It's like the hottest game at the on the market at the moment.
Yeah,
people are like asking for it, and it's just like selling out straight away. So I think Animal Crossing fever is taking over everywhere.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy, because we were talking about sort of the sales in the UK and Japan, and it's the fastest selling Switch game. It's beaten Pokemon, it's beaten Mario Odyssey, it's beaten Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It's just, it's crazy. It's really crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like the perfect storm of events that have kind of helped catapult it to that, you know, with everything that's going on at the moment, the lack of, you know, big releases in the first kind of couple of months of the year, and this is, you know, the first one obviously with Doom, but like everyone's just clamoring towards it. Yeah, and
have you been playing it much over the last weekend, or how's your experience gone so far?
Yeah, I picked it up on Friday. Probably put a couple of hours in on the Friday, and then probably a couple more across the weekend. So I probably put maybe 4 or 5 hours into it.
Yeah.
And this is my first Animal Crossing game. So I guess my background going into a game like this and kind of seeing the appeal is from the Stardew Valley kind of perspective.
Yeah.
So, you know, I guess the kind of gameplay cycle and what you're doing in the game is very familiar to me from that perspective. But I kind of like it. I really, really did kind of the gameplay loop that I guess it's trying to go for. So,
yeah, like earlier when I was talking about like if you're not sure about it and you sort of want to understand what it's about, I compared it a little bit to Stardew Valley, but at the same time, it is a very different game to that, just in what you're trying to do and the general loop of things. Would you agree with that? Because I haven't, I've put about 2 or 4 hours into Stardew, probably across PC and Switch, but I haven't put like a whole lot of it. Would you be, when you picked up Animal Crossing, can you see like being pretty comparable, or are they pretty different as far as the genre goes?
Comparable in a little bit in the sense that, you kind of, it really feels like that kind of life simulator. You're kind of mastering the art of nothing, like this, creating. Obviously, there's, from what I've established so far, because I'm not really far into the game, with the less farming, I've got, Stardew Valley is way more intensive and kind of a bit more crazy, whereas I think Animal Crossing, at least, the way it introduces you to some of the systems are a lot more forgiving and a lot more easier to understand how they piecemeal it all together. And I feel like there's no real pressure playing Animal Crossing, whereas sometimes in Stardew Valley you're running out of time in the day, and you've got to, have I done my fishing? Have I watered my crops? Have I gone to the mines? And I've only got a certain amount of energy. Have I spoken to all these people? It feels like really kind of crammed in, whereas I'm getting more of a cathartic experience playing Animal Crossing, where it's just kind of, okay, I'll just mosey on around the island and suss everything out and really explore and kind of talk to everyone. So I think it's really chilled out that way.
Yeah, you're not just like doing your own thing, then all of a sudden it's like, you're running out of stamina, go to bed.
Yeah, that's right. You passed out in the mines. You take back half your resources, and it cost you 50 gold from the nurse picking you up in the middle of the night. Like, oh, great, this is fantastic.
It's like, holy shit.
This is brutal. This is a life simulator.
Yeah. What have you named your island?
So I was really struggling. It's so funny that kind of had all this time to come up with an island name. I walked down to the shops walk down to JB to get it. And on the way back, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have to name this island. And only then did it hit me. So I was like, usually with my Stardew Valley, I went with Hill Valley, kind of like Back to the Future.
Yeah.
So this one, I was like, what am I going to do? I know the ghosts come out at night time. So I'm like, let's do maybe something spooky or supernatural and obscure. So my island called Twin Peaks.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And I also did that with kind of the idea, maybe if I'm going to play it long enough or get to the kind of landscaping or the kind of the shaping the terrain, and maybe I'll incorporate that in some of the as well.
Yeah. Yeah, because like...
What about yourself? What's your island name?
I was in a similar situation to you. I started downloading the game, and I had a shower and all that. Like, I just got home from work, and just before I had the shower, I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to call my island just yet. I sort of asked some people in the House of Mario Discord and put it on Twitter, like, hey, any suggestions? And I wanted the sort of theme after the podcast. So I was like,
absolutely,
like call it the Isle of Mario or whatever I came up with. But the character, like, you could only fit like 8 characters, so I couldn't fit anything near that I needed in. So I ended up just calling it Thom, just using the acronym and calling it that.
Yeah, so you went with Thom, as long as you didn't go with Thought. That'd be highly inappropriate. So
would be. Yeah, I hope Thom isn't like some slang for like
Urban Dictionary.
Yeah, it's for like genitals.
Maybe I can jump in there quickly and put one in before you search, and then you'll search it up and you go, oh no, I've made a horrible mistake.
Like, I better have, and even if I hadn't, someone's going to make.
Time I usually go for my kind of like Apex or more competitive games where I'm speaking with people online. So I haven't actually played the game at night time yet. So I wish I could. The in-game clock was a little bit more accelerated, but I kind of get what they're trying to do there with the real-time stuff. So
yeah, they've made it a little bit better. Like when I was playing Wild World on DS, for example, like past was it 9 or 10 o'clock, you couldn't go to the store, so you couldn't sell anything, and you couldn't really do anything. If you go fishing and you fill up your inventory, you're like, all right, I can't do anything now. So
yeah, okay.
But now it's got like the thing at the front where you can deposit what you're going to sell, but you can sell it for a little bit less, but you can at least still do it, which is handy, stuff like that. So
so that wasn't in the game before.
I don't think so. I can't remember New Leaf. Like, playing New Leaf on 3DS was a long time ago for me. I can't really remember, but I think it's think it's a new thing. Yeah,
because in Stardew Valley, you just chuck everything into the box overnight, and then obviously get sold off And then you wake up, you've got all the money for the things you've sold instead of having to go to each individual like shop or retailer, especially because they're only open at certain hours. So, that's a good system. I like that kind of thing.
Yeah, so do I. How much time did you put into Stardew Valley, just out of curiosity?
Stardew Valley, I think I've only got through 1 year, but I was really going hard on each day and kind of trying to maximize what I could do in each day. So I'd say I'm probably 20 to 30 hours into Stardew Valley, and I have restarted one farm at one other point as well. But I think, that might be accurate.
Yeah, because I wish I put more time to Stardew Valley too, but it's sort of just that little bit slower start sort of turned me off a little bit, just because I was like constantly running out of stamina. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. And I thought all the trees around your house or your farm, I thought that once you chopped them all down, they didn't come back. So I was chopping down trees, my stamina ran out, and then I would just go to bed, wake up and chop it. I'm like, I'm just going to clear all this area out first. And then things started growing back. And I was like, cool, I have wasted so many days. I have made massive mistakes.
Yeah, like I'm not going to make any money this year, being not productive at all.
Yeah, infrastructure year.
Yeah. I mentioned this a little bit before, but a lot of people are like sort of thinking about picking up Animal Crossing, but they've never like tried it before. And obviously, there aren't many Nintendo IPs coming out at the moment, and with everything that's going on in the world, people are looking for games that take a lot of time, and Animal Crossing's great at that.
Yep.
But who would you recommend it to? And if someone hasn't tried it before, and how would you sort of recommend it to them? Because I think a lot of people would enjoy it, but they sort of get turned off when people say, you pay back your house and doing these more mundane things.
I'm not really sure how geared to kids this is. Like, if kids can comprehend what's kind of going on, then they will kind of play anything. But the way I was just kind of describing it to a customer before, it was kind of asking what the game was about and how do you win in Animal Crossing. That was the funny thing. How do you win in Animal Crossing? And I just laughed. I'm like, how do you win in life?
No one wins Animal Crossing, friend.
No one wins Animal Crossing. Only that Bond villain, Tom Nook, wins. I swear to God, he's a Bond villain.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be so funny.
That would be hilarious. I would say, pick it up if you are the type of person that maybe plays games more intermittently and not in long sessions, and you're going to have the game for a long time. For myself, I don't really do that. I usually play in large sessions, and I roll games quickly to trade in and kind of play the next game. So for me, I'd always planned that Animal Crossing was only going to be a short term I played, and trying to get the most out of it in a short time before all my PS4 exclusives come out before the year. So it's probably not geared towards me, even though I did pick it up. I just wanted to give it a try anyway. Yep. But I knew what I was kind of getting myself into. So if you know that you're going to pick up a bunch of other titles this year, you're not going to be able to dedicate enough time to it. Maybe not. But if you're only going to pick up a few games here and there across the year, then maybe Animal Crossing is that perfect. Just pick it up every now and then and work out and do stuff on your island. Especially with how kind of, like I was saying before, how chilled and cathartic it is, just to kind of switch off and enjoy the kind of whimsical nature of it all, and the fun of it all, and just exploring it around. So
yeah, definitely. Like especially like if you want a game that will last you forever, Animal Crossing is definitely the title. But I do agree with you when like a lot of us who are like really into the video game industry and keeping up with the latest games, like we are like constantly like looking to the next thing, and if we don't finish it quick enough, we'll probably leave it in our backlog and move on to the next thing and keep going.
Yep.
So yeah, if you want to keep up with games, probably Animal Crossing is a hard one. But
of course, if you only have a Nintendo Switch and you don't have any other consoles, there aren't really that many big ticket titles that they've kind of earmarked that are coming out this year. So
yeah,
immediately I would say absolutely pick it up, because you don't know what's coming. They really haven't shown you anything else, so it will be an instant buy. But if you've got other consoles and maybe can't dedicate enough time to it, if you're going to get into some of the other games that are coming out quite soon, maybe not. Unless you're content with just sitting it there and picking it up or playing it across, small sessions across the year, then yeah, at least you know what you're getting into.
Yeah, And I'd probably say like give it a go, just probably for the same reason you're giving it a go. Just like, this is one of Nintendo's biggest franchises now, and if you're a Nintendo fan, just like see what it's all about, like experience it and like
and I've had co-workers that have played Stardew Valley, and it's been a bit too intensive for them, and they're kind of like, I don't like this, and then they picked up Animal Crossing, and they haven't played them before either, and they've absolutely fallen in love with Animal Crossing, and just because I guess it's a little bit easier to get into, and it's a little bit more chilled out and stuff. So
yeah, it's definitely chill. That's what I like most about it.
I really dig the art style and kind of the music that's going on, and it's got quite a funny sense of humor as well. So
yeah,
I really dig that, and it's really cool seeing what everyone's making online. I know people are like creating scenes from the lighthouse in black and white, these murder scenes and horror things. And then people are like translating all the art onto the wall, like with album covers. And
that's cool. Yeah,
so cool.
I saw someone's wedding got cancelled because of what's going on, and they had their wedding in Animal Crossing. They went to the beach and they put down the patterns.
That's so cool.
They got like tuxedo and the wedding dress, and they had their friends come to the island.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool.
And
I saw that. I think I saw the other day you could throw a Google image into a link and it would automatically turn it into an Animal Crossing picture. Did you see that?
Yeah, well, I actually used it. It's a website called AC Patterns, and I used it to put the House of Mario logo into the game.
Of course, I did see your logo on there. I was like, oh damn, Drew is just what an artist. Like, I might have to get him to take my Animal Crossing design. But yeah, now that I know you just did that, I'll have to do that myself.
I had to like edit it like quite a lot just to make it look proper, just because like the logo is a bit detailed. So once you like put it into pixel art, it's just like it was just like a blur. So I had to like do a bit to it and changed a bit what said the House of Mario to just Thom, because you couldn't. Yeah. It was just like all white. It wasn't actually writing. But yeah, it's a really good.
It gave you a template.
Yeah, it's a really good website. So people that want to give it a go, that's acpatterns.com, and you can just like put a picture in, and it's even if you want to just like do a brand new pattern, you can do it on your computer, so it's a bit easier, and then it actually generates a QR code to share it as well.
So cool.
Yeah, so if you do that in game, at this stage you can't share it via a QR code. So definitely recommend that.
It's awesome.
So last question, buddy, one of the most important questions. What fruit did you get on your island?
Oh, man. I got pears. I'm pretty upset that I got pears because only for the reason that I don't actually like pears in real life. Yeah. I'm not really a big fruit eater because I don't really like the texture, but I'll have a lot of the different fruits in smoothies and stuff like that. I used to work at Boost Juice.
Oh, cool.
I used to make my own smoothies for free.
I love Boost Juice.
Yeah, fantastic. So I got pears. I feel done. But then on the other end of the spectrum, I know a lot of people are restarting their game to try and get peaches. So I'm guessing there might be more people out there that don't have pears. So maybe if people can come to my island and get pears and then sell it on their island for more, maybe I'm helping other people.
Yeah, I actually got
utilitarian kind of outlook for everyone else.
Yeah, I actually got pears as well for my island, and I'm like, pears is probably the one I would eat the least, but I'm not going to reset. People are like resetting their island for different fruit, then also resetting their island for like the Dodo Airlines building is randomly a different color, and people are like resetting their things.
Is it?
Yeah, because they want a specific color. I'm like, that's a bit far, guys. That's a bit far past me.
Those are people in for the long game.
And like in past Animal Crossings, like in this, you can choose your island layout and what you look like and everything. In past Animal Crossing games, your appearance and your village are completely generated by himself. You can't choose anything. So,
oh my god, how many times were people restarting games then?
Yeah, so that's probably where it comes from, because people like, you might start and your eyes might look drowsy, and you might be like, I don't want those eyes, so you restart the game.
I don't want that hair.
Yeah, that hair looks ridiculous, because you couldn't really change it much either, which was even harder. You're sort of stuck with what you got. But yeah,
there you go. People should be happy.
Yeah, be happy with what you got, people. Accept your pears, move on.
Yeah. Although we are, team pears over here, so.
Yeah.
Of course we would say that.
Well, thank you very much for your time, buddy. It was good having a chat to you. I need to have you on proper eventually.
Yes, definitely. It'd be great if Nintendo actually holds the direct or tells us what games are going to come out this year, or if there's going to be anything else. Of course, the two mysterious Wii U ports that are to come. It'd be great to have some more news and come on and have a chat.
Yeah, exactly. And I was listening to a Platinum Explosion today. Vanessa's like, and Dylan's like, oh, and our special guest, Buddy. Then it was like a bit of a gap. I'm like, Buddy's not on. He's not really on. Then all of a sudden, it's Buddy out of nowhere.
Yeah, I probably was taking a drink of something, an alcoholic beverage possibly, or not paying attention. But yeah, it was good fun to go on Platinum Explosion and talk about PS5. So.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see if it comes out. I don't know.
That's it. Yeah, I think the world is in a kind of a state of flux right now with video game releases and media releases. Obviously, there's more important things going on, but for everyone else that's kind of enjoys all that kind of entertainment, it's a bit up in the air with their hobbies that we kind of have and share.
Yeah, for sure. I hope they do come out this year, but I don't see how they will. Just with how China is with everything, and Jesus, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. It's not the end of
no
to come out. They have to be delayed.
Yeah,
it's way more important things. So.
Yeah, we'll live without a PlayStation. We've got the PS4 and Xbox One and Switch still. I'm sure we all have a big enough backlog on those systems without having to buy a new fancy box. I know I do. I know I certainly do.
That's right. We'll all just be playing Animal Crossing for the next 18 months.
I mean, I'll be happy with that. I don't know if you will be.
Day 14, still playing Animal Crossing, walking back and forth. Can't find the fish that I need.
I just really want that hammerhead shark. I can't find it.
I do. I want to catch yours. That's one of my goals before I put this game down.
Yeah, they're fun to catch. You can have you caught a shark or anything yet?
No, I haven't caught anything super crazy. I've caught like a puffer fish, a few other big fish, but yeah, nothing like a shark yet. Are they? I saw on someone's timeline. I think it was. Was that a nighttime thing? One of the great whites? Was that yours? No, yours was in the daytime, wasn't it? The shark that you caught.
I think from 10 o'clock. I think they're 10 o'clock at night. They're a bit more common, but I've definitely caught sharks during the day. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have to look up the guide. The Stardew Valley had a great wiki of when things were available to catch and what seasons they were in. I'm sure no doubt that Animal Crossing will have an awesome kind of wiki or guide like that as well.
Yeah, New Leaf has like an endless guide just with so much stuff. New Horizons obviously brand new, so they're updating. They're still writing it, but yeah.
That'd be cool to see all the entries going.
Yeah, so then I can find when the cash stuff. I'm a little bit stressed because I'm like, well, it came out late in March, and I've only got so much time to get everything that's exclusive to March, so. Don't know.
Yes, you're so right. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, makes me a bit worried. I don't know why I've sat here for a long time just talking to myself. Maybe I should have just been playing Animal Crossing all this time. what have I done?
You can play it while you record.
Yeah, well, that could have been an idea. I'm just like
Nintendo Switch.
I'm just like playing it, just like muttering, "Where are you, Filbert? Come on, Filbert. Where are you, Filbert?"
Oh, so good.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Thank you very much, and I'll talk to you later, right, man?
No worries, man. Thanks for having me on, and hope your Animal Crossing island bears you more fruits.
Yes, I do too. I've got oranges. I'm on the quest for the rest. So,
Drew Thanos over here.
Yeah, just I need all the fruit, all to me on my own little island. I'll snap everyone out of existence, and all the fruit will be mine.
That's how you win Animal Crossing.
That is, yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's what you tell the next customer that asks, how do you win Animal Crossing? It's like you kill everyone, you get the fruit.
I will do verbatim.
Yeah, do it.
Sweet, man. Thanks for the chat.
Yeah, no worries, dude. Catch you later.
See ya.
Alrighty, so that was Reggie's Rec Room. Reggie, thank you very much for letting me borrow your phone. That was a big help. It's the only phone in the house for some reason. I don't know why it's so difficult. And I've been talking for a long time. My Rodecaster's ran out of memory. My computer has stopped recording at one point because the hard drive was too slow. So I think there will be a bit in Buddies where it skips a few seconds because of that. So I apologize for that. But my storage was obviously not up to snuff. I wasn't expecting to talk about this long. But if you got to this point, I just want you to let me know whether covering that much news was far too much. I think it was. I do apologize for doing such a long episode by myself. But if you got to this point, I appreciate it so much. It means a lot to me that you listen to the show and that you stick with it, even when it's long. And I'll be listening back to see how it goes. Just me talking to myself might be like, maybe not. But with that, everybody, thank you very much for listening to the House of Mario, episode 136. If you enjoyed the show, leave a review on iTunes to help support us. You can follow us on Twitter. I am at iDruby. The show is at the House of Mario. And Bryce, which you heard earlier in the show, is at IV Revan. And Buddy Watson, who I was just talking to, is at Buddy Watson. Oh, no, is that Buddy Watson? Oh, he's got a number. I think it's at Buddy Watson 12. It'll be in the show notes anyway. If you go and follow him, I've forgotten his Twitter handle. If he listens back to this, he is going to kick my ass. He's going to be very grumpy. We have a Discord community where you can go in and check it out. We've got awesome people in there, which we talk to on a daily basis. And being able to talk to people who listen to the show really makes my day each day. So you guys in the Discord community, really appreciate it. And if anyone else wants to talk Animal Crossing, whether it's sharing fruit, whether it's trading Pokemon, whether it's playing games together, we want to get that underway a bit more too. Anyway, so yeah. Anyway, this week's Nintendo Jukebox is by Video Game Remixes, and it's an Animal Crossing New Horizons main theme remix. It's really good. It bangs. You'll be listening to it in the disco, and you'll be like, ooh, this song bloody bangs, and you'll be waving your long hair everywhere, and you'll get your hair in someone's yogurt, and then you'll have to go and wash your hair because it's got too much yogurt in it. So we'll start that up. And until next week, everybody, the doors to the House of Mario are closed. Catch you later.